The morning sun filtered through the curtains of my HOA-approved suburban home as I sat at the breakfast table, laptop open beside my plate. The HOA president, Mrs. Patricia Harrington, the self-appointed queen of Sunnyvale Estates, stood at my front door, her disappointed sigh cutting through the peaceful silence before she even spoke. She'd been banging on the door for the third time this month with another violation notice clutched in her manicured hand like a holy decree. 28 years old and still working in pajamas, Mrs. Harrington muttered, shaking her head as she peered through the screen door of my setup. Her tone carried that familiar mixture of disappointment and contempt I'd grown accustomed to over the past 5 years in this so-called idyllic community. When I was your age, young lady, I had a proper office job downtown, not this remote nonsense that brings down property value for the entire neighborhood with your visible laptop glare and unsightly Wi-Fi router. I took a sip of my orange juice and continued typing an email to my chief operating officer, keeping my voice even. Everyone works remotely now, Mrs. Harrington. It's efficient. She practically spat the word, her pearl necklace bouncing with righteous indignation. That's what failures call unemployment these days. Remote work, freelancing, all fancy terms for can't hold down a real job that doesn't violate Section 4.2 of the covenants. No commercial activity visible from a street. She waved the pink fine slip. Another $250 for aesthetic degradation. Your lawn isn't even edged properly because you're too busy pretending to work in those ridiculous pajamas. My mother, the HO had become my surrogate judgmental family, exchanged a knowing look with her clipboard as if I were the neighborhood's collective disappointment. Flexible schedule, she sneered. That's another one of those phrases, isn't it? Like when people say they're between opportunities or exploring options. Your brother Michael just made partner at his firm, and your sister Jennifer is chief surgeon. And you're here fine. Working from your HOA home on whatever internet thing you're pretending is a career while the rest of us maintain standards. I close my laptop gently. I'm doing fine, Mrs. Harrington. Actually going very well. Is it? She leaned back, arms crossed like a disappointed parent. Then why are you living in our perfect community without an office building with your name on it? Why have we never seen a business card, a company logo, anything that proves this isn't just an elaborate excuse to avoid contributing to the HOA dues and aesthetics? We thought you meant delivery truck or warehouse work when you said logistics. I explained calmly. I travel a lot for work. It doesn't make sense to maintain a permanent residence when I'm rarely in one place for more than a few weeks. Plus, the guest room has good Wi-Fi. Travel, Mrs. Harrington's laugh was sharp and cold. What kind of business travel doesn't involve hotels? Real executives stay at the Four Seasons. They don't crash in our gated neighborhood, breaking rules about home-based businesses and unsightly yard maintenance. The doorbell rang, interrupting her monologue. That'll be the newspaper delivery, I said. At least some people still maintain traditional practices. The Wall Street Journal delivered every morning at 7:30. Consistency. Professionalism. She disappeared into the hallway to supervise, as if the delivery boy needed HOA approval. I heard the door open. A brief exchange, then a long, heavy silence that stretched for minutes. When Mrs. Harrington returned, her face had gone pale. She carried the newspaper in both hands, holding it away like it might explode. Her eyes darted from the front page to my face, back and forth. What's wrong? I asked, buttering my toast with neutral calm. I'd known the article was dropping today. My publicist sent the advance copy 3 days ago, but I let it break naturally rather than explain to a woman who fined me for visible productivity. Alexandra Chin, 28, took a failing logistics company and transformed it into the fastest-growing supply chain technology firm in North America. She read aloud, voice barely a whisper. Front page, Wall Street Journal. The main photo is she couldn't finish. Her fingers trembled as she compared the professional headshot to my pajama-clad face across the table. Back and forth, denial in every twitch. Her revolutionary AI-driven platform now serves 400 of the Fortune 500 companies, processing over $2 billion in shipments annually. Chin's net worth is estimated at $1.2 billion, making her the youngest self-made female billionaire in United States history. The kitchen fell silent, except for the refrigerator hum. I chewed my toast slowly. "This is a joke, Mrs. Harrington," finally gasped. "Someone photoshopped your face onto the Wall Street Journal." "They don't Photoshop front-page stories," I said quietly. "But you told the board you worked in logistics." "We thought delivery truck or warehouse." "I do work in logistics," I confirmed. "Just never specify my role." "Your role," she repeated numbly, sinking against the door frame. "The article says 12,000 employees, offices in 40 countries, autonomous vehicle fleet, disrupting transportation." I nodded. 14,000 now. New headquarters in Singapore, Dubai, Sao Paulo last month. But she gestured helplessly at my laptop, pajamas, breakfast table. "You're here eating toast in our HOA, getting fined for lawn edges, while supposedly running an empire?" "I told you I travel constantly," I said. "Easier than an empty apartment. The guest room Wi-Fi is reliable." "Travel," she laughed bitterly. "Real executives don't hide in Sunnyvale estates, violating every covenant." The doorbell rang again. Through the window, a white van with satellite dish appeared. News crew setting up on the lawn. Right on the grass, she'd fine me $250 for not edging. "That's Bloomberg." I checked my phone. "PR team wants a follow-up. I can ask them to leave if this is bad timing." "Bloomberg News here. At our HOA for you." A young woman with clipboard peered in, waving. I waved back. "Rachel from Forbes. Cover story next month. Reluctant billionaire angle. Living in the HOA with all your diligent finds humanizes me," my publicist said. "Humanize you, Mrs. Harrington echoed, stuck in shock loop. My phone rang. "Hi, Margaret. Journal photo great." "Yes, CNN at 4. Navy suit. Tell the Times 30 minutes tomorrow. Editorial approval on HOA quotes. Some things stay private." I glanced at her meaningfully. She stared like I'd grown a second head. That was my publicist. "Today's busy. 3 TV interviews, 2 radio, Harvard Q&A live stream. Secretary of Commerce wants lunch next week on supply chain security." "The Secretary of Commerce?" she whispered. "Very nice. Met at Davos. Interesting manufacturing ideas aligning with my initiatives." Her phone exploded with buzzes. Board members, neighbors, golf club guys, all calling. They're asking why I never mentioned the lazy pajama lady I find weekly was a billionaire. "Probably because you never asked what I actually did," I supplied. "Just assumed failure violating your rules." Phones kept vibrating. Everyone from last week's meeting saw the paper. Why didn't I know my problem resident was a billionaire? News crew knocked. "This is going to be quite a spectacle," I observed. Whole HOA learns the rule-breaking failure is running a Fortune 100 company. "Hope you're ready for the attention, Mrs. Harrington." "Ready." Her voice cracked. "How could we be? You weren't ready to believe in me when it mattered. Now you don't have a choice." The news crew moved efficiently, setting up lights and cameras in my kitchen within minutes while Mrs. Harrington stood frozen like a statue, her violation notice now crumpled in her fist. "We're live in 3 minutes, the cameraman announced. Bloomberg's Sarah settled across from me, producer clipping her mic. "Miss Chin, the journal article has generated incredible buzz. Social media exploding. Everyone wants to know about the young woman who disrupted logistics while living under HOA scrutiny in pajamas." I smiled calmly. "Happy to discuss." 30 seconds. Sarah turned to Mrs. Harrington. "Mrs. Harrington, would you like to be in a shot?" Viewers would love to hear from the HOA president who's been enforcing standards on America's newest billionaire. Mrs. Harrington and the invisible board exchanged panicked glances through the window. I don't think," she stammered. "They're a bit overwhelmed," I said smoothly. Only learned about the journal piece 15 minutes ago, right after issuing my latest fine for visible productivity. Sarah's eyes widened with journalistic delight. You mean the HOA president didn't know? The woman fining you for pajamas and lawn edges didn't know you were running a billion-dollar company. I tried to tell the board, I said. They weren't particularly interested in details beyond covenant violations. 10 seconds. Sarah faced the camera, professional excitement kicking in. Red light blinked. Good morning. I'm Sarah Martinez, live from the suburban HOA home of Alexander Chin, the 28-year-old CEO shocking the business world with today's Wall Street Journal cover. Miss Chin, you're the youngest self-made female billionaire in U.S. history, yet here in pajamas under HOA rules. Tell us about that choice. It's not really a choice, I said calmly. Practical. I travel constantly. Board meetings, Tokyo, factory inspections, Germany, investor presentations, New York. Maintaining an empty apartment doesn't make sense. My HOA home has comfortable space and reliable Wi-Fi. It works. And your HOA president, Sarah leaned forward conspiratorially, just learned about your success this morning after finding you. The board knew I worked in logistics, I said carefully. We may have had different interpretations of what that meant, especially when it came to aesthetic degradation. Behind the camera, Mrs. Harrington had gone pale again. The journal describes you as ruthlessly efficient and strategically brilliant, Sarah continued. Your AI platform revolutionized supply chain for Fortune 500. How does someone so young achieve that while dodging HOA fines? Hard work, I said simply. Long hours, talented people, and most importantly, not caring what the neighborhood thinks of your choices, like visible laptops or imperfect grass. Speaking of choices, Sarah said, you've been remarkably private. No social media, no interviews. Why reveal now? Major acquisition last month, I explained. Now third largest logistics firm globally. Growth attracts attention. Board felt time to put a face to the name before someone else told the story wrong, especially with all the covenant enforcement. My phone buzzed on the table. Jennifer, Uncle Richard, 3 unknowns. Sarah noticed. Looks like you're in demand. Interesting few hours, I agreed. Your HOA president is right there. Would she like to say anything? Mrs. Harrington, how does it feel learning the resident you find for pajamas is a billionaire? Camera swung. Mrs. Harrington's mouth opened and closed silently. They're processing, I said diplomatically. A lot of information before morning coffee, and after issuing yet another fine. Sarah laughed. I can imagine. Miss Chin, what's next for you and the company? Expanding autonomous delivery vehicles. Already 3,000 self-driving trucks, North America. By next year, 20,000. Drone systems for rural areas, even space logistics. Space logistics? Someone needs supply chains for lunar bases and Mars colonies. I smiled slightly. Why not us? Interview continued 20 minutes. Sarah asked education, philosophy, future plans. I answered professionally while Mrs. Harrington stood frozen, occasionally visible when camera panned wide, her pastel suit clashing with the chaos. When finished, Sarah shook my hand. Fantastic. You'll be everywhere by tonight. Prepared for that attention. Publicist is, I said. Preparing 6 months. As crew packed, more cars arrived. CNN, CNBC, Fox Business logos. Circus had arrived, ironically violating every HOA no commercial vehicle rule, Mrs. Harrington loved enforcing. The irony, I muttered. Mrs. Harrington overheard. Everyone's saying they always believed in you. Claiming they saw potential. People revise history when convenient, I said. Same neighbors who signed petitions against my unsightly home office last month, now filming for TikTok. Mrs. Patterson told me last week to stop mooching and get a real job. I don't know what to say to them, Mrs. Harrington whispered. Hostility turned to shock. Then don't say anything, I suggested. Let them think whatever. A knock revealed my executive assistant Marcus, harried but efficient. Miss Chin, your car is here. CNN ready whenever. Then CNBC at 2, Fox at 4, Tokyo call at 7 their time. Governor's office wants business award next month. Add to calendar, I said. Let's go. I paused at the door. Mrs. Harrington and the board still sat stunned at the table, lost and small. You can watch the interviews. CNN, streaming noon. Maybe learn something about your problem resident. Alexandra, she started, voice cracking. Don't. I interrupted gently. Don't apologize now, because it's expedient. Don't pretend you believed when you were fining me for pajamas. Just watch. Learn who I actually am. Maybe someday, honest conversation. After the board votes on your position. I walked in a bright sun where 3 black SUVs waited. Security opened doors. Cameras flashed. Reporter shouted, Miss Chin, how does it feel famous? What to young women following footsteps? True, you're worth more than some country's GDP. I paused at car door. Success doesn't look like people expect. Doesn't require corner office or HOA approval. Just dedication and refusal to let anyone define your worth. Got in car. As we pulled away, I looked back. Mrs. Harrington stood in doorway, holding the journal, staring at my photo. Neighbors gathered on sidewalk with phones, signs now reading, "We always knew," and neighborhood pride, ironic after months of complaints. House grew smaller. Nothing suggested Billionaire lived there eating toast, quietly building empire while HOA called her failure. My phone buzzed. Text from Jennifer. We need to talk. Had no idea. So sorry. Michael, lunch? Hear everything. Uncle Richard. Always knew you special, kiddo. Proud. Delete it all. Marcus turned. CNN excited. Invisible billionaire angle resonating. Good. I open laptop for talking points. Stay on message. This isn't about HOA reaction. About company, innovations, global logistics vision. Understood. Though parents, HOA, didn't know part everyone remembers. He was right. By Manhattan CNN studios, HOA Karen didn't know billionaire neighbor trended worldwide. Memes circulated. Late-night jokes wrote themselves. Internet latched on delicious irony of power-tripping president, dismissing resident only to discover she ran Fortune 100. CNN interview went smoothly. Then CNBC, Fox Business. Each asked same questions different ways. I gave same answers, slight variations. Yes, HOA surprised. No, didn't hold against them yet. Yes, understood why story compelling. By 6 p.m., exhausted not from interviews but diplomatic facade. Pretending years of fines and mockery for aesthetic violations were amusing anecdote rather than deep wound. Phone rang. Mrs. Harrington. Let voicemail. Then board members. Same result. Neighbors, cousins I hadn't spoken to in years, all suddenly desperate connect, claim relation to newest billionaire. Margaret called final update. You're everywhere. Story international. BBC, Al Jazeera won interviews. Invited World Economic Forum, G20, 3 TEDs. Company, I asked. Stock jumped 18%. Trading halted twice. Institutional investors flooding. $3 billion acquisition offers this afternoon. Good. That matters. Alex, Margaret gentle. You okay? Huge day. Fine, I said automatically. You don't have to be. Finding HOA didn't understand what you built. Not nothing. They understood. I corrected. Just didn't want to. Difference. That night, a lone luxury hotel suite company paid. Watch coverage. Every network ran story. Journal analyzed word by word. Experts debated strategies. Social media hot takes. Every segment showed Mrs. Harrington's face realizing truth. Shock when she understood daughter. Resident, she dismissed was more successful than imagined. Should have felt victory. Felt hollow. Phone buzzed. Text Mrs. Harrington. Please call. Need talk. Explain. Turned off phone, went bed. Tomorrow more interviews, questions, people suddenly interested, quiet girl built empire secret. More bored claiming always new special. But tonight's silence, anonymous hotel, admitted truth. Hadn't kept success, secret surprised them. Kept because wanted belief before proved wrong. Now proved wrong, their belief didn't matter. Morning paper had face again. Fortune magazine. CEO changed everything. Only headline mattered, one red, stunned faces realizing who really was. Sometimes sweetest victories taste bitter. Proving everyone wrong, loneliest feeling. But as car pulled HOA entrance next day, ironic no violation notice from my security detail, something shifted. Mrs. Harrington waited at gate, face ashen, bore behind her like scared children. Alexandra, the community, we owe you apology. All fines waived. Perhaps we discuss new covenants, more flexible for innovators like you. I smiled thinly. Waived? How generous after $3,200 collected last year alone for pajama violations and visible laptops. Black humor bubbled. Tell me, Mrs. Harrington, does Section 4.2 cover news vans? Because yesterday's Bloomberg crew parked on your sacred grass. Should I issue fine? She flinched. Neighbors gathered, phones out, filming the reversal. The same ones who gossiped lazy slob, now chanting support. Satire thick. HOA queen who manipulated opinion, now begged mercy from woman she slandered. I've been patient, I continued, voice low and tense. Silent while you spread rumors at meetings, turn neighbors against me, call me failure at block parties. But patience has limit. My legal team reviewed covenants. Interesting loophole. Majority shareholder in development company that built Sunnyvale can call special meeting. Guess who that is? Her face drained. You own the land? Technically, my company does. Quietly acquired last year. Thought it prudent after first fine. Gasps rippled. Black humor hit. Karen, who feared losing position, now saw throne crumble. You can't, she whispered. I've served 12 years. And abused everyone, I said. Manipulated votes, pocketed management fees, terrified residents into compliance. But power reversal sweet. My board, real one, suggests new president. Someone less dramatic. Cameras rolled. Live streams captured her lopsided grin, cracking into panic. Please, she begged me and my dripping. We can work together. Your AI could optimize HOA maintenance. Too late, I said. Public already laughing. HOA Karen owned trending. Your standards now meme. She turned to neighbors, desperate. I was protecting values, but they backed away, phones capturing her downfall. One muttered, she found my solar panels last month. Another, call my remote job unsightly. Satisfaction surged. Laugh and anger as her empire of petty rules collapsed. I stepped forward. Lesson here. Never judge resident by pajamas or lawn. Might be billionaire quietly watching. Mrs. Harrington's phone exploded. Notifications from reporters, lawyers. She dropped it like snake. This isn't fair, she sobbed. Fair. I echoed. Cham beamed deep. Fair was $250 for Grass Edge while I shipped $40 billion goods yearly. Enjoy retirement, Mrs. Harrington. Community thanks you for entertainment. As I walked to car, board members approached sheepishly. Miss Chin, perhaps lunch? Discuss business opportunities. I tilted head. Like Michael did? Or Jennifer? Funny how suddenly interested after Wall Street. Deleted their numbers mentally. My general counsel handles. Mention it, if I remember. Car pulled away. Behind Mrs. Harrington stood small, HOA sign mocking her. News van still there, ironically breaking every rule she loved. Neighbors cheered quietly. Sweet justice. But hollow too, years endured alone. Back at hotel, Margaret updated. Stock up another 12%. Acquisition offers doubled. 60 minutes confirmed profile. Good, I said. Company focus. An HO special meeting tomorrow. New president elected. Me, temporarily. Rules modernized. No more pajama fines. She laughed. You're viral again. Pajama billionaire owns HO. Let them meme, I said. I built empire despite them. Now they live in mine. Night fell. Texts flooded. Apologies, lunch invites. Deleted all. Proved wrong, their belief irrelevant. Tomorrow more interviews, but tonight's silence admitted. Revenge satisfying, yet loneliest when no one believed before proof. HOA Karen lopsided grin in mind. Final image of power flipped. Dawn broke over Sunnyvale Estates with unusual quiet. No early fines, no clipboard patrols. Special HOA meeting called for 10 a.m. Sharp, ironically in community center Mrs. Harrington once ruled like dictator. I arrived in Navy suit, security discreet, but news crews camped outside gate. Now approved under new emergency clause my team drafted overnight. Black humor. The woman fined for visible work now dictated terms. Neighbors filled seats, whispers buzzing. Mrs. Harrington sat front row, face powdered but eyes hollow, clutching old covenants like life raft. I took podium, calm but tension building. Good morning. As majority shareholder, calling this meeting to address governance. Recent events highlighted inconsistencies in enforcement. Murmurs. Someone coughed pajama fines. I continued. For years, certain leadership manipulated opinion, slandered residents, used rules to bully. That ends today. Mrs. Harrington stood, voice trembling with false politeness. Alexandra, dear, we only wanted standards. Protecting property values for everyone, including you. Standards? I echoed, me and my sharp. Like finding me $250 for laptop glare while my company processed $2 billion shipments? Or gossiping I was failure mooching at every potluck. Laughter rippled. Nervous at first, then genuine. You turned neighbors against me, formed petitions, called board meetings to discuss the problem resident. All while I quietly built empire, serving Fortune 500. I held up journal copy. This front page happened while you delivered latest notice. Irony delicious. She clutched pearls. We didn't know. If we had exactly, I cut in. You didn't ask. Assumed pajamas meant loser. That's HOA disease, surface judgments, power abuse. My legal team found irregularities, undisclosed fees, selective enforcement. Evidence here. Slides projected, emails, bank records, neighbor complaints I'd silently collected. Gasps. Mrs. Harrington paled. Those are private. Not one public record, I said. You feared losing position. Now you have. Motion passed. Vote unanimous. New board elected. Mrs. Harrington removed. New covenants. Remote work allowed. Aesthetic flexibility. No petty fines. Cheers erupted. Neighbors who once shunned me now clapped. One approached. I'm sorry. Signed petition last year. Thought you lazy. Thought wrong, I replied. But learned. Outside, Mrs. Harrington cornered me, desperation leaking. Alexandra, please. My reputation, the club, what do I tell them? Truth, I suggested. You harassed Billionaire. Or spin it. Mentored her. History revision, your specialty. She laughed bitterly, black humor moment. You let us look fools. All time could have told us. I tried, I said, voice hardening. At last meeting mentioned company valued $800 million. You laughed, said $800 what dollars? Assumed warehouse job. Easier disappointed than asked questions. She flinched. Would we have believed? No, I met eyes steadily. You'd say stop exaggerating, get real job. Like family did. Cameras caught exchange. Live streams exploded. HOA Karen begs billionaire neighbor. Satisfaction peaked. Laugh while angry as her empire crumbled publicly. Board approached. Miss Chin, perhaps introduction to your legal team? Firm wants handle company work. General counsel does, I said. But mention, if I remember all times you ignore my internet thing. Tilted head. Have you? Sorry, must not paid attention. Too busy pretending career. Words hung acid. They flinched. Marcus arrived. Car ready. 60 minutes crew here. Also Governor Award. Added. Paused. You watch proceedings? Learn something. Mrs. Harrington nodded numbly. We processing. Good, I said. Perhaps honest conversation someday. After new president settles. Walked out, son. News vans waited. Now legal. Reporter shouted. Miss Chin, feel owning HOA message power-tripping presidents? Success doesn't need approval, I said. Just dedication. Refusal let rules define worth. Car pulled. Look back, Mrs. Harrington's small figure by sign, neighbors filming downfall. House, my house, grew distant. Nothing suggested empire built there amid fines. Phone buzzed. Texts. Lunch? Business opportunities. Deleted. At studio, 60 Minutes producer gushed. Invisible billionaire owns HOA Gold. Focus company, I said. Innovations. Not drama, but new meme. HOA Karen owned eternal. Stock soared. Offers poured. Margaret, you viral. Pajama CEO humbles Karen. Let them laugh, I replied. Built to spite. Now they live in mine. Night hotel, watch clips. Mrs. Harrington's lopsided grin final shot, power reversed. Victory sweet, yet bitter. Wanted belief before proof. Now irrelevant. Proved wrong loneliest. But community freer. Rules fairer. Lesson learned, never underestimate pajamas. Might rule world. Weeks blurred interviews, expansions, quiet satisfaction. Sunnyvale estates transformed. No more clipboard tyrants. New board flexible. Remote work celebrated. Even drone deliveries tested ironically for community benefit. Neighbors wave genuinely now, some asking startup advice. But Mrs. Harrington, retired voluntarily, moved smaller condo outside gates. Last sighting, packing lawnmower she once weaponized. Black humor lingered, queen dethroned by her own rules. One evening, knock at door. Mrs. Harrington stood, no clipboard, just humble envelope. Alexandra. Community thanks you. New covenants fair. I apologize. Truly. Voice cracked. Years enforcing, lost sight people. Assumed worst. Your success, billionaire next door, shocked me. But humbled me too. I invited her in, coffee offered. Sat same table where revelation hit. Apology noted, I said. But actions louder. Fines, gossip, manipulation, that's legacy. She nodded. Deserved. Feared losing position. Power corrupted. You exposed it smartly, patient, observant. Never lashed. Just let truth explode. Show don't tell. I smiled. Watched. Collected. Struck when ready. Cham beam light. Like your violations, cumulative. She laughed weakly. Irony. Find you for unsightly while you built empire. Now, my name meme. Satisfaction washed. Hahi is Karen admitted low bitch. Lesson. I asked. Don't judge book pajamas. Might billionaire quietly owning development company. She winced. On the land. Brilliant. Silent counterattack. Patient. I corrected. Im lang chiu dung, but prepared. Social satire. HOA pretends utopia, but petty tyrants thrive till exposed. We talked longer. She shared fears, aging, relevance. I shared years isolation, building alone. No full forgiveness yet. Wounds deep, but bridge started. Perhaps lunch someday, she offered. Not business. Just neighbor. Maybe, I said. After board approves. She left lighter. Outside, community buzzed new normal. News faded, but impact lasted. Stock stable, company grew. I travel more, but home base Sunnyvale, now truly mine. Phone quiet, no desperate invites. Deleted old contacts. Proved wrong, belief irrelevant. Yet peace came. Sweet justice, not revenge. but growth. HOA drama taught. Power abuse crumbles. Underestimated rise. Laugh in anger when Karen falls. Ha-he deep. Final morning, sun-filtered curtains. Laptop open, pajamas on, now celebrated. No fines. Journal copy framed. Reminder. Mrs. Harrington waved from distance. New life. I wave back. Empire built. Rules rewritten. Community better. Sometimes proving wrong loneliest, but sweetest when justice reverses. HOA Karen lopsided grin memory. Final victory taste. Universe understood. Truth always surfaces. And billionaires sometimes wear pajamas.